What's Crack-A-Lackin? Welcome in to My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Show.
Well, welcome into another episode of My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Podcast. I am your host, Sleazebomb, and this episode we are going to be going over my wide receiver top 36 tier rankings heading into week 2 here. And for my ranking episodes, if you guys are new in the channel, this is more of my opinion, game base. I drop all my statistics and stats, everything like that, in the start and sit-in videos. So if you want all that for the wide receivers and the breakdowns like that, check that out. But this is going to be how I look at the games, how I looked at week 1, just how my mind works for fantasy football, just to give a different variation so it's not just stats on stats that sound the same as the other video. Now, before we dive into it, guys, make sure you hit that thumbs up, tap that subscription button. All the support is appreciated. Our Discord will be pinned in the comments. It is also pinned in the description. The Guys FF, we cover everything fantasy football, 3 tiers. Dynasty, trades, help you set your lineups. We also do daily pick'ems, DFS, drafts like that on drafters.com. If you guys have not signed up, make sure you use promo code SLEAZE. It will double your initial deposit up to $100. And you can draft with us, talk pick'ems with us. We drop all our picks in there. Both my lock picks last week absolutely hit. Keenan Allen over his receptions and Jameson Williams over his receptions. So 2 for 2 on week 1. I've already got a slip in there for week 2 that I like a lot. You guys should check that out. And let's dive in to my week 2 wide receiver top 36 rankings. All right, guys, if you're new to the channel, this is my wide receiver board. Baller tier at the top, your must-start players, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5, and then we're going to go through all 36 rankings here. And then in my camera board here, you're going to see the injuries that are out in the suspension. So you got Ayuk down here that is out on IR, probably till week 7 is the update for him. Xavier Worthy gets ran over by Travis Kelce in the game. We don't know if he's day-to-day. The update's been very sketchy there. Rashee Rice, same situation as Ayuk, he's week 7, and then Addison is dealing with his suspension, so he's out for 3 games. Now, these top 3 at the left here, these are players that I took out of my rankings that were last week, and I had Terry McLaurin last week at 36. I knew not to start him. I said don't start him. I should have kept him out of my rankings. I'm going to keep him out again here in this Thursday night game. It is a short week. The guy missed the entire camp. Historically, 30-year-olds in the NFL that hold out for that long are a 4 to 5 week ramp up. And I said that Debo is going to be the screen game king, and he was. And that's exactly what I think is going to happen again. I do not like Terry McLaurin again this week. And then Travis Hunter. I'm the biggest Travis Hunter supporter you could find on social media. I had it the whole way. I knew he was going to be wide receiver in this game. I do not like it because they're going to need him more against Jamar Chase and T. Higgins on the defensive side, which they've alluded to already in updates. So I'm not, as a wide receiver too. Maybe if you want to throw a dart throw flex play with him, maybe, because it could be a shootout game and maybe they get behind so much defensively he doesn't get out there and he plays more offense. But this is one of those games I'm staying away from Travis Hunter. Matthew Golden, man. The Green Bay Packers. This is their quote-unquote wide receiver 1. He's going to be out there as the alpha. He was out there for 66% of the snaps, only saw 2 targets. I cannot tell you to start this guy after week 1 after watching it because Green Bay spreads the ball around. Jordan Love gets the touchdown. You get Tucker Kraft, Romeo Doubs involved. It's going to be one of those situations that's going to be hard to judge, I think, all year long again. And I hope he breaks out as the draft capital they spent on him as the true wide receiver 1. So, now we're diving into the baller tier here. Number 1, CD Lamb. He is freaking angry. He is so mad about the 3 drops that cost them the win versus the Eagles. He is going to come out and light the world on fire. And you got to realize that all the wide receiver top picks last week didn't even score over 15 points. Like CD Lamb was the highest. It was one of those weird week 1, anomalies for the wide receiver position. They are all going to bounce back. Do not panic. Do not start selling. You should start buying if you're smart. Number 2, and we're going to talk about both games at the same time here. I forgot. So I got George Pickens down here at 31. And Pickens is like the guy I told you in draft time. This is like owning Jameson Williams, right? You're going to have that question every single week. Pickens or this guy, or Pickens or that guy. It's going to be boom or bust versus no floor every single time. So the matchup is great versus the Giants. I just think it's going to be a CD Lamb game because he's angry from week 1 and he's going to go absolutely nuclear. Pickens, throw him in there for a dart throw. Maybe he catches a bomb TD. It's always a risk with him, and it's always going to be a risk with Jameson Williams when we get to that same little situation there. Number 2, Jamar Chase. I'm not at all backing down from Jamar Chase. This guy is a Triple Crown winner for a reason. It was a tough matchup, and Joe Burrow always struggles in his opening game. And the Cleveland Browns defense was no joke. They were getting after him the whole time. And him and T. Higgins both, we're going to throw T. Higgins up here at 18. They were both under 10 points combined, and Noah Fant had more points than him combined by himself. That's not going to happen again here. The matchup against the Jaguars is way better. It's going to be a shootout game. It better be. If it's not, if you watch my QB video, this is like my last dance for T-Law, man. Everything is there for this guy. I'm getting really worried about Trevor Lawrence here. Number 3, another guy that had a dud week, Nico Collins. Another under 5-point performance. Tough matchup versus the Rams. Now you get the matchup you are looking for in the Houston Texans. Look what Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams just did to this defense. They struggle versus the pass. They are very strong versus the run. Nico Collins is going to bounce back in a monster way this week. I'm tired of hearing the hate. And I was a big hater of Nico Collins last year at the beginning of the season before it started. He proved me wrong. So I'm even rooting for Nico at this point. I think he's going to explode this week and put up a 20-point week. Number 4. Puka Nacua. Now, Devontae Adams being there, guys, in Sean McVay's system with Matt Stafford. What better tutelage can you get as a wide receiver being Puka Nacua than learning from possibly the greatest route runner of my generation in Devontae Adams? I mean, Puka Nacua looked like he's on a different planet. Eye cut above, still making plays. Route running looks so smooth, finding the open zones, beating man coverage. Him and Stafford were locked in on a different level, and it's going to be the only wide receivers or only part of the offense in the passing game. You didn't even see Higbee or Ferguson out there at all. Whittington had to get an end around to get involved. I mean, it's going to be Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua for the whole season as long as they're out there, and Puka is going to shine on a different level. He's literally has a chance at wide receiver 1 at this rate. And Devontae Adams I'm putting out there at wide receiver 21, but he is a guy, and you're not sitting him. He's a guy that can break fantasy football any single week, no matter what. So, yeah, I have him at 21, but you're still flexing this guy. Moving along here, Jetta's wide receiver 5. It didn't look like he was fully healthy in that game. You know, I was texting with Debo from Fantasy Pros during the game. We're like, man, he's coming out in the 2-point conversion. Is this like a fake out play? You know, they try to fake the run here and sell like a play action pass with Jefferson on the side. We don't know. He got the touchdown at the end. The targets weren't great, but it was J.J. McCarthy's first NFL game on the road at Soldier Field. He looked great in the second half, and I think when Addison gets out there, this offense is going to be a nightmare, and Justin Jefferson, once that connection builds, man, it's going to be special. Number 6, I'm getting worried. I'm getting worried. Russell Wilson looks just terrible. I mean, terrible. You could see the frustration on the entire Giants team. 6 points against the Commanders defense that is not known to be a good defense. And Malik Neighbors, not a great game. You know, none of the top wide receivers did. So, I mean, maybe it's a week 1 kind of aberration thing, but he is way more talented than this. Is it maybe his back injury? Is it the toe? No, it's the freaking quarterback. It's time for Jackson Dart. I've had enough. Put this man in. I don't want to see Russell Wilson any longer. Number 7. BTJ, and I talked about this with Travis Hunter. You could look back to last year. I mean, BTJ's numbers with Mac Jones were double, like in and out style over Trevor Lawrence. So I don't know if the Trevor Lawrence connection isn't there. The balls look terrible to BTJ. They had to get him involved on an end around versus the horrible Panthers run D just to get BTJ in the end zone or get him something going in the game. Now you get the Bengals here. This should be a possible 20, 30-point BTJ explosion game here. So I'm getting worried here as well. I mean, I know it's 1 week in. Don't overreact too much. But if you look at the sample size from last year to go with it, his numbers are worse with Trevor Lawrence, and that is just facts. So I'm getting scared here. This is a smash matchup for BTJ. He should explode this week. If he doesn't, I'm going to be really, really worried next week. Number 8, Drake London practiced today. Thank God he will be out there playing on Sunday Night Football already. It's great that you got that already in the week instead of having to deal with roster nightmares waiting for an update coming for Sunday Night Football. So thank you, Vikings, for that at least, right? In this game, you know, Falcons, Terrell shadows very nicely, or not Terrell. The Vikings defense is very good. They press very hard, but it doesn't matter. In the 4 games with Michael Penix being the starting quarterback, if you throw in last year as well, he's averaging 13 targets a game. That is volume that you cannot ignore. I know Kyle Pitts had a little breakout game there, but Chicago Bears also shut down TJ Hawkinson last week very, very well. So, you know, Are they going to lock up Pitts? Is it going to be the London show? Mooney might be out there too. He was not there week 1, so it looks like he's good to go as well. But again, we got to pay attention to these updates all the way up. But I think they're going to be out if they're dropping on Wednesday. Drake London, always a top 10 wide receiver, no matter what. Number 9, the Alpha, Jackson Smith and Jigba. The only thing that looked good in the Seattle whole freaking offense was Jackson Smith and Jigba. He had 13 targets. Sam Darnold's only way he could go after was him. Couldn't find anyone else in the offense. It's going to be very quick, short route passes because their offensive line cannot block at all. I mean, they look so terrible in the first week. I know it's week 1, but still, I was saying that in the preseason. I was trying to tell you guys about Kubiak's run game. It's going to be ugly. I at this rate, after that game right there, like if the Steelers mop them up here, you're going to start hearing Jalen Milroe chants real quick because he can use his legs and get out of the pocket and create something different that the statue Sam Darnold could not. Number 10. Got to apologize. You guys know this is my guy. Like everyone on freaking fantasy football community knows that Garrett Wilson is my guy. And Justin Fields is my guy. I rank these guys higher than everyone. I said they're the best stack to buy in fantasy football. And on all the live shows, like this is my formal apology again from the other videos as well. I said to sit them versus the Steelers. The implied point total in Vegas was low. The Steelers defense on paper looked amazing. And these two picked up right where they left off at Ohio State. They are going to be starts for the rest of the way. Garrett Wilson, Justin Fields, they look electric. Start. Number 11, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and you are not going to see Jameson Williams on here. And I had him as a sit last week as well. So the Lions offense, guys, I had Amon-Ra wide receiver 20 last week. Everyone gave me a bunch of stuff in the comments, made stuff on Twitter. I tried to tell you guys the Lions offense is going to regress. You're playing the best defense in the Green Bay Packers. That was a tough matchup. I told you the Packers would blow them out of the water. They absolutely did. Now you're going home. You have a revenge game versus Ben Johnson. And the Bears just took massive injuries. Jalen Johnson was out in that game. They took 2 more injuries, starting defenders on the defensive side. Jared Goff's at home. He plays very, very bad on the road. I expect Amon-Ra to jump back into the top 12 wide receivers this week and have a big week because they've got to show Ben Johnson that losing him wasn't that big a deal and they could at least beat him, which would help their status moving forward because the Lions are in shambles right now. Number 12, MHJ. Now, it didn't look great, but he got the touchdown, right? And the hype was insane in the offseason. You could say Kyler Murray had his, little illness going into it. Whatever kind of excuse there is to throw, the volume was not a lot for MHJ still in that game. You get the Carolina Panthers now, and the matchup is great, but you are going to draw J.C. Horn, and J.C. Horn just put the business on BTJ. And when I look at this game, how do you beat the Panthers is with the run. James Conner's going to be an absolute smash play. ETN ate him alive in week 1. They gave up 4,000 yards last year on the ground. I mean, if MHJ doesn't find the end zone early in this game or if this game gets out of hand, it's going to become a James Conner game. So I still have him up here for a high touchdown upside, but it could be a really, really, I guess I'm kind of just rooting for him with the ranking at the same time, but it could be a lot lower. He's one of my sketch guys, I'd say, that I have ranked in the top 15. Number 13, AJ Brown. I was down on the Eagles the whole year. The offense, week 1, it came through. But we'll see here in week 2 because this is going to be a true test. But there's a couple ways to look at this. And I have Devonta Smith at 33, who I also did not like in week 1 as well. So hit on both those, right? But when I'm looking at this game versus the Chiefs and I look back at last week, you got to say, the only way to beat the Chiefs is through the air because Herbert just sliced and diced them like it was nothing, right? And the Chiefs' run defense last year was number 2. They're still a top run. They shut down Saquon Barkley, right? So now they didn't shut down Saquon Barkley. They shut down the Chargers run game. So when I'm looking at this game, there's like 2 ways I look at it. It's either Patrick Mahomes and the no Worthy, no Rice, they stay in this game and it can be a neutral game script, or the Eagles won't have to pass like crazy and they control the clock with Saquon Barkley and run it out because the Chiefs can't do nothing because their weapons are hurt. But if anybody can overcome it, it's Patrick Mahomes. But this one's like a 50-50 call because if the Chiefs stay in this game, the Eagles wide receivers will fly. They will have a good game here, right? But if they don't, this will become a game controlled situation where you see the tush pushes, where you see the runs, where you see the clock just get melted down, and their numbers could decrease just based on volume. So it's tough for me because the Chiefs are beat up, but I'm going to put A.J. Brown at 13 and Devonta Smith at 33. Number 14, Zay Flowers. So this guy played 100% of the snaps. 100. That is what you want as a wide receiver. He absolutely looked great. He is a target hog. They gadget player him up. And when you have to worry about Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, and you have this type of speed at wide receiver with your big bodies, DeAndre Hopkins and Bateman, and Hopkins played limited, of course, and Mark Andrews was kind of a shell of himself. I don't know what happened with him. But this guy's going to be the featured player. This is the featured wide receiver one. The breakout is beyond here. Last year, he was looking great till he got hurt, and then his numbers dipped. Now he's healthy. You can see that. He looks explosive. And when you have to worry about the duo of Henry and Lamar Jackson, he's going to eat almost every single game with play actions, and how Todd Monken dials it up. It's going to be awesome to watch. Number 15, Mike Evans. We're going to grab them both here. We're going side by side. Mechatron, baby. So this is going to be Baker Brown Mayfield time. This matchup they have on Monday Night Football versus the Texans are very, very, very good versus the run. They struggle versus the pass. You saw that last week with Kyren Williams and how they stopped him in the run, and then you saw how Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams slice him up through the air. That is what is going to happen to the Texans all year long. They're one of the best front sevens there is, but they're going to struggle versus the pass. And Baker Mayfield, I can't believe Emeka Egbuka called game at the end. Walked over to the huddle, said, I got this route as a rookie. Like, give me the game. Dude. This guy may be a top 10, 15 wide receiver by the time the season's over as a rookie already. And Chris Godwin is just sitting there like, man, I don't even know where my role is going to be here. Number 16, DK Metcalf. Can't be a sit ever. Unless you're going up against Patrick Surtain, maybe, right? That's the only guy that would scare me away. The volume he's going to see is just like Jackson Smith and Jigba. It's just like Garrett Wilson. They're going to get all the volume because the targets around them are nothing. Cooper Kupp, I'm not gonna say isn't like, he's still one of the best receivers like over his career with a Triple Crown, but he didn't look like Cooper Kupp in week 1. But I'd say Cooper Kupp's, better than Roman Wilson or, Calvin Austin. But Calvin Austin looked great. But what my point is, their targets around them are not going to gobble up enough to ever sit them. They're going to see 10-plus targets a game, 8 to 10 range. Touchdown upside is always there. Aaron Rodgers looked great in week 1 at age 41, which was mind-blowing against the Jets defense. I did not call that. I don't think anyone on planet Earth called 4 freaking touchdowns from him. So they're going up against the Seahawks at home. This is a good Seahawks defense. I think it's going to be a grimy game, and it's a revenge game for DK Metcalf. So I'm definitely starting him in this game, and I think the touchdown is coming here. So this is tough for me. So Ladd McConkey at 19, and I said this, if you guys were subscribed to my show when we were doing drafts and we were doing shows before the season, I said this even before Keenan Allen got there, and I called Keenan Allen going to the Chargers, right? I said he's going back home. He wanted to go back to L.A., and his ADP was just too high for me. Now you have Ladd McConkey, Keenan Allen. All of a sudden, Quentin Johnston looks like a wide receiver 1. Trey Harris even got involved. Keandre Lambert-Smith was out there a little bit. Tyler Conklin, the tight end, obviously, not a supreme tight end, but he's not a bad tight end. And the Harbaugh run game was supposed to be the key. He's probably going to see 6 to 8 targets, but low touchdown upside. They didn't look at McConkey once in the red zone. It was always Quentin Johnston and Keenan Allen. He's not a big body guy. He's going to have to thrive off of volume. And we also don't know if that's how the Chargers offense is going to look every single game. We don't know if it's going to be the Harbaugh run here when Najee gets back out here healthy, because you don't beat the Chiefs on the ground. You beat them through the air. So, yeah, Justin Herbert looked like a god in week 1, right? He looked the part. He looked like a top 5 quarterback, MVP caliber, all of that. But that's always what he does versus the Chiefs. So you get the Raiders on Monday Night Football. You get an AFC West grimy division battle. We'll see how it goes. I still like Ladd as a start, like wide receiver 2, Keenan Allen as a flex. But the ball's going to be passed around a lot to these wide receivers. So I've got to drop Ladd down a lot, even though I think he's an absolute stud. It's like the Bears, man. It's like Russian roulette. Number 20, Cortland Sutton. The Denver Broncos, and he got a touchdown early in the game, then he kind of got stifled the rest of the way. The Broncos offense did not come out like I think they were going to come out. The Titans defense, though, was impressive. So, can't, not throwing shade at the Titans. I thought they'd be worse than that. They look great. Now you get the Colts. And it's hard to judge the Colts defense when you're looking at the Colts just played Miami. And Miami just, Drop me in the comments one word to describe the Miami Dolphins right now. Let's have some fun with it. They looked dumpster fire, man. That's going to implode. Mike McDaniels is going to be fired. Tyreek's going to be traded. Who knows what else happens? It's not looking good. But that's why it's hard to judge the Colts defense looking at this game, because they were a great play against a team that just fell apart. So I think it's going to be a different look. Evan Ingram, I just got the update on my phone. It practiced today, so if you have Evan Ingram, that's going to be a little plus for him there, moving up in the rankings. If he's back out there healthy. I need to see this play out first, because it was an ugly game for Bo Nix, and it was an ugly game for the Miami Dolphins. So you're looking at like two situations where could there be a lot of points to score? Denver's defense is very good. Danny Dimes could die in this game. He could throw 5 picks in this game. Also, this defense is so good. But I'm going to put him at wide receiver 20. And Cortland Sutton's never that sexy guy, but he's definitely a flex play. Speaking of the problem himself, Tyreek Hill comes down with domestic violence charges. The trade rumors are swirling. The Dolphins are falling apart. Now's the time to buy Jalen Waddle. 100%. Dynasty, redraft, whatever it is. If you're listening to this part, you made it this far into the video, here's a little tidbit. Go get Jalen Waddle, because regardless of the Dolphins situation and Tyreek Hill is moved, he's going to absolutely feast, because they're not going to run the ball all year long. So the matchup they get is the Patriots. Chris Gonzalez, we don't know if he's going to be out there yet. I haven't seen the update. That would obviously hurt. He's a superstar corner if he's out there on Tyreek Hill. But I had Tyreek Hill at wide receiver 5 last week, man. The matchup was great against the Colts, and it was terrible. So I'm putting Tyreek at 22, Waddle at 35, flex plays at best, and I'm worried about the Dolphins like I think everyone is right now. Number 23, Teteroa McMillan, the rookie out of Arizona. I had him way too high last week. I apologize. I had him at wide receiver 12. The matchup was beautiful versus the Jags, and Bryce Young, man. I thought the Panthers would come out. I had super high hopes for Bryce Young. Right now, I'm kind of eating my words on it, so I'm going to drop Ted McMillan down to 23 here. The matchup's still good. You get the Cardinals. You have a great offensive line. Bryce Young should have time. I can't make it make sense last week. They were in a game script where it should have been favorable because they're playing from behind, and he still looked terrible. It's kind of like the Dolphins, man. It's like a panic mode right now. So I got Ted at 23. Deebo Samuel bumped him up to 24. I think I had him like wide receiver 29 last week, and I had Terry McLaurin 36. I should have just taken Terry McLaurin off. This is the Deebo show for the first couple of weeks here. You're going to see him used out of the backfield. You're going to see him part of the Cliff Kingsbury screen game. That is what they do. You also have a very high implied point total this week versus the Green Bay Packers tomorrow on Thursday Night Football at 48.5, and it's already jumped up a point. So they think the points are going to fly. I think the points are going to fly. How can you sit Deebo after 10 targets last week? You cannot. Deebo Samuel looks like a great play here again. Number 25. I told you guys, man, volume. I know Chris Olave didn't hit all the way in week 1, low scoring game. Took a little chest injury there as well, had to miss a drive. But you got to look at the 13 targets. This is why I told you to draft Chris Olave. This is why Juwan Johnson's a waiver wire pickup. This is why Rashid Shaheed should be on your roster, because they're going to throw 40-plus times a game from behind. Now, I know there's Mac Jones in this game. Could it be a different game script? Could my Niners fumble away here? We're falling apart with injuries right now. So, yeah, that's possible. But CMC's still out there. The Niners are a better coach team. The defense is way better. They're going to be playing from behind again, in my opinion. And Chris Olave is going to see 10-plus targets every single game, in my opinion. So, you can't sit. Volume is king. Chris Olave has to be a wide receiver 2 flex play for me. Dun 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 dun. Keon Coleman, my breakout wide receiver of the year, looked great in week 1 in the Ravens game. Oh my God. So the stat sheet will show you 11 targets. He actually got 15 targets. So he had two two-point conversions that were thrown at him. There's unaccounted for targets. 2 flags that were drawn against him on deep bombs. Those aren't accounted for. And yes, he did get a deflected touchdown, which made his points inflate to wide receiver 2. But if you saw the athletic ability on the sideline, you saw who Josh Allen's go-to wide receiver is. You would usually think Khalil Shakir. This is what everyone was telling me on the year, was Khalil Shakir. he's always a safe flip play. Yeah, he's a safe flip play, but he's not the electric. He's not the superstar. He's not the go-get-him wide receiver. Dude, Keon Coleman could have been in like the NBA. He's a basketball stud as well. The athletic ability is phenomenal. He is going to keep jumping up my rankings, and now he is at 26, and I fear that I'm going to have him in the top 20 next week after this Jets game. Now, number 27. This one's a little different here. So Ricky Pearsall, everyone's going to panic because Mac Jones is out there, right? And they did sign Kendrick Bourne, who Mac Jones also played with in New England. So I guess Shanahan knew way ahead of time that Brock Purdy was going to be out this week. So Ricky Pearsall, when I look at Mac Jones, and we talked about this with BTJ's numbers were twice as good as with Mac Jones than they were with Trevor Lawrence. Now you got to remember also the Shanahan, way better coach, also wanted Mac Jones in the draft. So I don't think the system's going to be hard for him to pick up. I don't think it's going to drop off much, but since Juan Jennings is out there, I had to drop Pearsall back down. I would have Pearsall in the top 15 if Jennings wasn't out there, with Kittle down as well. So I also think it's going to be a massive CMC 30-plus touch game again, but I'm dropping him down just because I haven't seen Mac Jones in his first game in the system, but I'm not that worried with him out there because there's a lot of connection that all, comes together with Mac Jones, the quarterback for the 49ers. Number 28, Calvin Ridley. And man, talk about two tough games for Cam Ward and Calvin Ridley. You got the Denver Broncos. I said sit Calvin Ridley last week. I told everyone to sit him in the show. I hope you guys did. I hope you guys listened. Because Patrick Surtain is no joke. I mean, you're not starting Michael Pittman this week versus Patrick Surtain. That wouldn't be smart. Now, when you're looking at this, look at the Rams last week and what they did to the Texans wide receivers. Nico Collins was blanketed. Jaden Higgins was blanketed. So, yeah, the volume will be there. I mean, he had 8 targets last week versus the Broncos. Could he see 8 targets again? Yeah, but how much, how are they going to look? It's still going to be a tough matchup. I just want the Titans and Cam Ward to get some breathing room because this is two tough straight matchups out the gate for the Titans. Number 29 and number 34. This is why you subscribe to the channel, guys. And I know Romo Dunze scored on a 1-yard play action touchdown in the end zone, right? I know that. Everybody can get at me for Romo Dunze. But what did you see? You saw the first look of Ben Johnson's offense with Caleb Williams. Came out absolutely lit, 10 for 10, then absolutely fell apart. Now, what did you see wide receiver-wise? What did you see tight end-wise? What did you see? You see a nightmare of which guy's going to pop, which is exactly what I said all year long. DJ Moore, same amount of targets. Romo Dunze, same amount of targets. Cole Kmet played 90% of the snaps compared to Colston Loveland. DeAndre Swift saw massive targets out the backfield. Luther Burden and Zacchaeus got involved. It's going to be a spread-out nightmare. Now, did Romo Dunze look like the alpha 6'3" tall wide receiver out there for them? Kind of, but still the volume is going to be all around. If he didn't get that touchdown, we wouldn't even be talking about it. It would be a lot worse, but so he did kind of save his day with the 1-yard play action play because they can't run the ball to DeAndre Swift in the red zone. So he looked good, but temper your expectations, man, because it's going to be a nightmare roulette wheel of guessing who's going to hit. Number 30, Jerry Jeudy let me down big. He was one of my smash starts last week. I love the matchup versus the Bengals. You saw 45 pass attempts. I didn't think Harold Fannin Jr. was going to emerge with 9 of them. Dylan Sampson taking 8 catches out of the backfield as well. And dude, you got to look at Jerry Jeudy also drew 3 PI flags for 65-plus yards. I wish they just give him the points for half the points for a PI call. He would have had a big day. Cedric Tillman got the touchdown as well. I'm not backing off. They're playing the Ravens. They're going to be playing from behind. Jerry Jeudy's still going to see tons of volume. He's still a low-end wide receiver 2 flex play. It's just, God, I wanted that call to hit. It was there, man. Now, last but not least, this is kind of a Quentin Johnston one here. So I don't even have Quentin Johnston up here, by the way. I'm not buying the one-game hype, right? And that's the same thing kind of with Hollywood Brown. Although Hollywood Brown did see 16 targets and lead the NFL. Xavier Worthy may be out. We know Rashee Rice is out. Travis Kelce looked really, really slow, even though he got a touchdown on a busted play. But I don't know if all signs say flex Xavier Worthy, start Xavier Worthy. He's just a guy do I trust him like Quentin Johnston to do it again? Or is he going to be right back on the waiver wire once, week 2 is over as the hiccups kick in? I've never trusted Hollywood Brown. So I know the situation looks great. I know it looks volume galore. You get the Eagles secondary, man. You got Quinyon Mitchell. You got Cooper DeJean. I'm gonna say he's a flex play, but it's like that gut feeling, like you just know not to play Quentin Johnson and not to play Hollywood Brown. That's what it feels like this week for me with those two. Thanks for rocking with me today, guys. That is the end of the episode. That is my top 36 wide receiver rankings. My running back, wide receiver rankings, and quarterback rankings, defense rankings are out. I don't know if I'm going to get to my tight end rankings tonight or not. We got a little pickleball to play tonight, so maybe I'll get to those. And then tomorrow will be my sleepers and my smash starts, but it will all be out before Thursday kickoffs. That is my goal the entire year, guys. As always, on your way out, smash that like and subscribe. All the support's appreciated. Check out the guys' Discord. It is pinned in the comments, pinned in the description. We cover everything to help you guys dominate fantasy football outside the shows, outside the live, everything. Love the community. We all hit 150 members. I can't thank you guys enough for the support there. And if you want to see our pick'ems, our daily DFS drafts and stuff like that with us, make sure you check out our sponsor, drafters.com. Use promo code SLEAZE. It will match your initial deposit up to $100, and you can get in the action with us. Get in the pick'ems, get in the DFS drafts. I'll be live this Friday. I will also be live on Thursday for the Stardom Sit-em Week 2 kickoff show. And that is it for me, guys. Can't thank you guys enough for all the support. If you have any comments, questions, always drop them down below. Does not have to pertain to this video. I'll try to get to them all. I have got a lot of questions going across the board through all my social platforms. I will try to get to them all, guys. That is it for me, guys. Have a good one. Sleazebomb out. Hope to see you guys in the next one.